I can't put my finger on it, but there's something different with you today, Lizzie. Did you do your hair different? Did you get like a haircut?
Um, I changed the light bulbs in the room.
Oh, yeah, that makes
When
sense.
it's softer lighting, it felt like it would give us a bit of a better look to the podcast.
Absolutely. And I see you
Hmm.
have the fireplace on in the background. I love what you've done with your recording room.
Ambiance is what we're all about here at the Still Loading podcast, so I want to make sure that everybody catches the right vibe.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Welcome everybody to the new episode of Still Loading podcast with Alex, but not Lizzie today. Lizzie is on a family trip, and I am holding down the fort, not by myself, but with our good friend and friend of the podcast, Bruce Winless. Bruce, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to step in such legendary shoes as the one and only Loading Lizzy in her absence.
Absolutely, absolutely. But this isn't your first time on the podcast, right? Like I think episode like 2 or 3, you came on for a small little cameo.
I do hold the special title of being the very first ever guest on the Still Loading Pod. I came to give you guys a little bit of a guess the character trivia. I remember this, and I
Absolutely.
went with Horizon Zero Dawn. Obviously, I'm biased.
Absolutely. And you also were the mastermind behind there. I believe there was a trivia PowerPoint that we also did that you and Liv and Pat worked on.
Yes, I live in Pat and I cooked up an absolutely gorgeous trivia that only had one small hiccup when you guys ruined the Charmander sound, but that's okay. It was, just one slide that got killed.
Hey, I'm gonna blame the technician because she's not here.
She can't
uh,
defend herself until she hears this, so we're
no.
good.
No, just like the fire, we're just going to be roasting all episode, and our favorite target to roast will be Lizzie. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Today's all about you, Bruce. But first things first. Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit
Oh,
about Bruce Winless before we
yeah.
get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to be chatting about today.
I would say, the summation of our raid message is a voice that's not mine, but just reads off a little bit of stuff about me. I'm Bruce. I'm a variety streamer, so Twitch is mostly where I met all of my amazing friends like Alex,
Mhm.
and Lizzie. And yeah, I'm the fourth fastest Junimo kart player in the world in Stardew Valley, which is a crazy title to hold.
What makes you the fourth fastest Junimo kart player? Because doesn't it go
So
at a constant speed, basically?
So it's all about time, right? So the
Yeah.
speed run is based on your overall time finishing the entirety of Junimo Kart, so beating it. So I
Okay.
have the fourth fastest time to get through the entire run of Junimo Kart and win it, and it's under 5 minutes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. It took me like
Yeah.
5 hours to beat it.
It's funny, that's actually genuinely how Lizzie and I's friendship started, was Junimo Kart. We met through Twitch, but we ended up doing a little battle between each other to see who could beat Junimo Kart first.
Mhm.
And I can't remember who won. But yeah, that started with me. I've never have beaten it before, and now I ended up starting to speed run it
Oh
and
my
set
gosh.
the fourth fastest time.
Because you're hardcore into Junimo Kart, hardcore into Gwent. When are you gonna focus on like an actual game, not a mini game?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, and we're going to talk about some stuff later, but I might be having to spend the next 150 hours of my life playing Persona 5 for the first time, having never played a Persona before.
Oh,
So
oh my
I may have
gosh.
made an arrangement and an agreement that was met, and now my bluff's been called, and I will have to become one with Persona, and I have no clue what any of it's about.
Can I ask if this agreement was made with a mutual friend named Pat?
It was not. It was made
Wow.
with a friend, Amanda.
Okay.
However, yes.
That this all checks out. This all checks out.
Yep.
So that's what you're going to be playing. What have you been playing? What have you been watching lately, Bruce?
Yeah, so playing, Rivals is obviously still a big part of what we play
Hmm.
with the buddies.
Yeah,
It's been fun getting Lord and proving, I'm the best invisible woman in North America.
that's wild.
Um,
I still have not played a game of Rivals. I downloaded it, installed it, and I was like, wow, this is not running well on my machine, and
yeah,
uninstalled it.
it is a game that does chug a lot. I run
Mhm.
on very low settings. My PC does not like it either, so that's fair. No, I love Rivals, but there's some days where you obviously are just like, I don't feel like getting my shit pushed in for an hour and a half straight. I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
So we actually impromptu bought Borderlands this week. I bought Borderlands 4,
Ooh,
having never finished or played through a Borderlands game before. But I was
that's wild.
so interested in the dialogue behind it and how much people were talking about it that I was like, I got to give this game a chance. And so I started playing with the buddies. All of us picked it up.
I know it's an
And
insanely grindy game.
yeah, it is obviously like a looter shooter with a lot of missions. This one has a big open world from what I've seen so far. It does not run well on my machine, so I'm making some adjustments, but that's okay.
That's fair.
But so far, the loop of it is very fun, and the guns are very cool. I got a pistol in the game that when you reload, it throws an explosive barrel that says "shoot me," and if you shoot it, it blows up, so you can get extra damage on enemies.
Oh, wow.
And it's like really cool. It's like your own little skeet shooter, which I think is kind of funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been playing through the first Hollow Knight game
Mm.
about 2 weeks before Silksong came out. Like when the announcement trailer released, I was like, okay, I gotta play it because
Yeah.
I tried playing it before on the PC and I couldn't get the PS5 controller to work with it.
Yep.
So I ended up buying it again for the Switch 2, and I've been playing through Hollow Knight on Switch 2, and I'm like 40 or 50 hours in. Like I'm pretty close to the end.
Okay.
I've beaten almost all of the major bosses except for like the last one and the one after that.
Mhm.
Have you played Hollow Knight?
I have, and I will say my
Okay.
funny story about Silksong after you finish.
And yeah, and I'm just kind of cleaning up a few things around the map. I'm doing the Coliseum right now, having a grand old time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your funny story about Silksong?
So I never finished Hollow Knight.
Okay.
Actually, I learned the other day when I went to reinstall it that the last time I had played it was July of 2023 when I
Okay.
rage quit because I was doing a like altered version of one of the bosses, and I just was straight up not having a good time, and I never went back.
Which one?
I honestly I can't remember. I'll be honest, I'd have to go look it up, but there's definitely a clip of me getting very upset at this one specific boss.
Fair.
And that was when I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I re-downloaded it and I was like, I'm gonna have to start over because I don't remember. It's been 2 years. And then
Yeah.
I asked a friend of ours, are you gonna be mad if I just start Silksong? And she was like, having started playing through it, no, I think you can go ahead and just play it. You do not need to go back. And she kind of just filled me in on a lot of stuff that I was missing because I was like, I just don't want to restart that entire journey again.
Yeah.
I was like 30 hours into it. I don't want to restart. I want the current game in my mind while I'm thinking about playing it.
Sure.
So,
and it looks like mechanically they're so different that like you're kind of starting at square one no matter what.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference obviously being the way that combat flows with your character. Hollow Knight being very down focused,
Yeah.
and Hornet being very angular focused, like at diving diagonally. So that kind of really throws your whole brain into I have to figure out how I'm approaching every jump and everything. It's very different.
It's been very fun. Well, I don't know if fun's the right word, but I've definitely been reading a lot of upset comments on Reddit about Silksong and about like just people coming, like, oh, I did Pantheon 5 and I'm so good at Hollow Knight, like this is gonna be a breeze, and then just absolutely getting their shit stomped.
Yeah, the fact that somebody already made a mod to make it easier makes me crack up because I'm like, come on, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that's like, I want the game to be easier for me. Like, you don't have to admit that to everybody else. Just silently rage like the rest of us and just eventually you'll get through it, That's what we all do. That's what I did with Elden Ring.
Yeah, and you know what? That's actually my first memories of you, was you streaming Elden Ring. I think
I love it. I love Elden Ring. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It was my very first like Souls-like. I had never played any before.
Have you gone back and played any of the other ones?
I have attempted to play Dark Souls 3, but I every time I get through a good chunk of it, I just get focused on other things and I never go back and finish it. So at some point, I feel like I'll need to do like a marathon and just play Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah,
but
at least 1 and 3. I really didn't like.
I know 2 is most people's least favorite Dark Souls game of all time. I also have tried multiple times with Sekiro, but I really struggle with the parrying in Sekiro, and I just got so annoyed with the combat for that reason. I was like, I'm just not good enough. It's not that the game is hard. I've seen so many people excel at it. I was like, I just can't get the timing ever. And I think the furthest I've ever gotten is like the general on the horse in the one camp, like maybe 10 hours into Sekiro, and I'm like, I can't beat this guy. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, Sekiro is the only one I haven't played yet. But I'm not like, I think the thing that interests me about a lot of the Dark Souls games are like sort of these builds that you can do right in the world.
Yeah.
And neither the world of Sekiro nor the really, there's not much flexibility. There's a little bit in your builds, right?
Yeah.
They really want you to have a very specific experience, which apparently is a great one, but I'm just not.
Yeah, I think the only real customization is in the playstyle of how you use the consumables and the items that change your fighting, right?
Mhm.
Or you have certain attachments and things that change to the way you approach fights. But yeah, it's definitely not the same level. I mean, Elden Ring was ginormous for that. I did go back, however, and I told myself I have to finish it. I think this game is the only game in my life that has fallen into the category of I think it is an incredible game, and I have never beaten it. And that would
Oh,
be Ghost of Tsushima. I have
ooh,
played Ghost of Tsushima all the way through almost to the end of Act 2 twice.
wow,
And I have fallen away from it because things have come up or I've just gotten distracted. I still think it's an incredible game.
sure,
And I'm so excited for Ghost of Yotei, and that's why I told myself I was like, you have to go back and finish it because I can't say how incredible it is and jump into Ghost of Yotei without
right.
doing that. I have to at least get over that hump. So I re-downloaded that and have been getting started kicking the tires on that because that game is just the flow of that game is crazy cool.
That's kind of how I feel about Expedition 33. I
Mm-hmm.
know it's a great game, and I know a lot of people like it, and I know I'm gonna have to go back and beat it probably after I'm done with Hollow Knight, but I got distracted, and
Yep.
I now owe it to Lizzy. I owe it to Lizzy to finish it.
Yeah, you do.
I have a couple friends that like every time we start talking about gaming, they're like, "When are you finishing Expedition 33?" I'm like,
Yep.
"At some point." I got to the end of Act 1 and I was like, "Cool, it's a video game." And then I was like, I get why people like it, but um yeah, it's just
I
I need
think
my office to be cooler because in the summer my office is like 40 degrees at night
yeah.
and 40 degrees Celsius
Yes.
for all of you, people in
Us
America.
Americans.
Um so that's probably be my next thing on Hollow Knight. But the next thing we need to talk about, Bruce, I've known you a long time, but
Yeah,
not everyone listening to this podcast has known you a long time. So
this is
like
true.
let's talk a little bit about your streaming journey up to this point because I think you've had a pretty
Okay.
cool one.
Yeah. I would say, I grew up gaming. My very first console was the original Xbox. I remember getting it for Christmas and not thinking I was getting it because I was a little brat. But then I remember playing Topspin 1 on my OG Xbox like
Mhm.
for weekends on end and just falling in love with it. And that's what ultimately led me to play tennis in high school.
Oh, cool.
But I think as I got older and I moved to Chicago for the first time, I spent a lot of my time when you're not in person gaming alone. Like gaming for me was
Mm.
just something that I did, and I would watch VODs of people on Twitch, like bigger streamers. I would just watch their
Right.
VODs, and I would just have it as the background noise for my ADHD while I'm gaming. It was
Who are
good
some
side
of
by
the
side.
the streamers that you listened to or watched?
I mean, I would say because this was 2018, right?
Sure. Yeah.
2017, 2018. So it was right at the peak of the beginning of Fortnite. So
Yeah.
obviously I was watching like Ninja and Dr. Lupo and Tim the Tapman and like
Yeah.
people like that. That was all the rage was Fortnite.
Oh
And
yeah, I
like I
remember.
was so bad at it because it was only build mode at that time. And I just had no hand dexterity.
For sure. For sure.
But I
Now
just
if it was arm
remember
dexterity like from your tennis days, you would have been fine.
yes, yeah. If I was doing any like Wii sort of tennis motion, I would have been killer. But I was just not. Also, my fire turned into a Walton Goggins. Please hold. Um,
For those listening, Bruce has had a fire on in the background, and then it went from fire mode to shirtless man, and now it's looking like
now it's Bob
people
Odenkirk.
getting their shit kicked in.
This is all in the
So
same. This is all real footage that
it's
I. This is my fire. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
chaotic.
But
You still
so
uh,
go ahead.
you dropped in a really beautiful nugget that I just want to circle back on. I didn't realize this about you. Do you still play tennis?
I do not. I miss it a lot.
Yeah.
And I actually the last place that I lived, my last apartment was nearby tennis courts, and I was motivated to try to get back to it,
Yeah.
and I just never did. But tennis will always hold a special place in my heart, because it was just the sport that I fell in love with, and it gave me some of my favorite high school memories of riding around in my
Yeah.
friend's Mustang on the way to matches, listening to Vessel by 21 Pilots, and just
Hell
like
yeah.
having the time of your life when you're 16, 17, you know?
Oh yeah, I have quite a few friends right now in my life, in my personal life outside of the internet, are actually very into tennis. Like they're playing 3-4 times a week, like at
Wow.
the courts near my house, and they keep on like being like, "Oh, Alex, you got to come out." And because I've returned to the sport of my youth in track and field, I'm
Okay.
like, I cannot risk a tennis knee injury when I'm running
Yeah,
100 kilometers a week.
that's
So,
fair. That's
uh,
fair. I will say tennis, I really do think if anybody like it's great that pickleball has gotten its renaissance because I think it gives people a chance to not go to the level of tennis but still get
yeah,
that kind of feel. I
for
don't think
sure.
anything feels as freeing athletically for me as tennis did. Like just
Oh, yeah.
being on the court, letting your body flow and moving like around, like I never felt more in step with my own like athleticism than when I played tennis. And I played basketball and I played football as a kid,
For
but
sure.
nothing gave me that like, oh, I get to do this feels so singular but also so complete with other people. Like I'm on a team but I'm getting to compete as myself, and I love
Yeah.
that about him.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm back to where we were.
Oh my,
You're watching Ninja and Dr. Lupo.
yeah, I those early Fortnite days of just watching streams. And so for the first couple of years of me living, I just thought that Twitch was one of those things where it was like, yeah, you watch those creators but you're not,
Mhm.
I wasn't an active chatter because like they had thousands and thousands of people. What am I chatting for? I don't need to chat. I just
Yeah.
want to watch what they're doing while I'm doing stuff. um and then I think the pandemic is what really changed my viewpoint about that, and I explored more of what Twitch had to offer.
As I think
And
for most of us, yeah, that's kind of
yeah,
what happened.
because you were inside and you weren't having as much of that outside, like, oh, I'm getting the fulfillment in my life just naturally by going to work and doing these different things. Like you were like, oh, I don't need to explore this other side. So I didn't know what it was like. And then I say 2022, that like January morning, I stumbled into a stream from a YouTube video that I got recommended about Stardew.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I found a mutual friend of ours in Party Arley.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I started hanging out in that stream that day, and I just really liked the energy. I liked the vibes of the people there.
Oh, it's a great
And
stream. That's one of the streams I still lurk in quite a bit.
absolutely. And so that was what opened my eyes to, oh, there are communities. Like you're not having to watch these giant creators are not the only people on the platform making amazing content or giving amazing energy or just being
Mhm.
good people. um
And I think
and
you go to like large streams and small streams for just a very different experience, right?
yeah,
Like I'll go watch like a Hassan stream because there's a moment I want to be a part of, whereas
right,
like I'll go and pop into like Lee's or Arlie's or Kelly's chats and say like, to say hello and it feel a little bit more like of a personal community in there, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I think what it did was it opened my eyes so that the platform wasn't just like booting up a Netflix or booting up something where you're watching a stream, like a streaming thing that's going on. There
Yeah.
are communities of people that are gamers that are like-minded and enjoy similar games or like certain like movies or whatever, and you just find those
Hmm.
bonds. And it kind of just snowballed over these last 3 years into finding some of my favorite people I've ever met and learning, and we'll talk about it, but learning that you can find so much love in so many amazing communities and people
Hmm.
outside of four physical walls.
For
Like
sure.
there's so many relationships to be found and amazing people to meet outside of just bumping into somebody on the street.
Yeah, and you've found these communities, right? And you've started interacting in some of these Stardew chats. And what was it that made you want to hit the go live button for the first time?
Yeah, I think a lot of it definitely stems from my own insecurities. I think one of the things that was most prevalent for me and one of the things I focus on so much as a creator is being vulnerable, which I think is really hard. And there's obviously this real big stigma around men's mental health and
Oh yeah.
being honest about how you're feeling and things like that. And going live was a thing that was very scary and still is at times because of me being self-conscious about my own self, my person, my persona, my voice, whatever it may be. And I just remember having that itch to just be like, I love games. I enjoy making memories in games. Why don't I try to share that the same way
Yeah.
that I got to see people like Arlie do? And I was like, this is like where you're getting to have this special moment and celebrate this game that you enjoy or experience for the first time, but you get to do it alongside other people who also find commonality in that or enjoy that.
Yeah.
Um,
Or people
and
that
I
have already experienced the game and get joy from watching you experience it for the
exactly,
first time, right? Yeah.
exactly. Like it was just like, oh, and I remember just being like, we're going to play MLB The Show. And I just remember setting up a webcam, and I didn't have a PC at the time, and setting up a webcam to my Xbox in my living room and sitting in this very chair that's sitting next to me and just like streaming to like two people. One of them was our dear friend Grateful Joey. He was there that night. I remember it.
Oh
But
my
that was the
god.
first time I sat there and like was like, "Hi, um, this is me game playing now," and yeah, it gave me a bit more confidence in
Yeah.
myself and appreciation for myself. And I still struggle with those insecurities, but
Yeah.
I get to do a lot with whatever small position I have and place on this platform that I have.
It's really awesome having like talking about when you first started and you had two viewers having like just one person really excited to be there and chatting with you. Like for me it was actually Lizzy where we were our kind of each other's some of our first viewers.
Yeah.
And I remember hopping in a voice chat after a stream back when I used to stream. Because you were kind of starting towards the end of my
Yeah.
streaming stint. Um,
I got to
and I
see I got to see a few. I got
yeah,
to see a few gems.
and I remember hopping into a voice chat with Joey, and he was like, "Dude, you gotta check out Bruce's stream." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" He was like, "Bruce is such a good dude." So I really think like shout out to Grateful Joey just being such a great cheerleader for all the
Genuinely, he
homies.
made me feel like I was so nervous about it, and I was like, "This is so scuffed and so bad. Like nobody's gonna watch this." And it just gave me such a relief. And again, that's what I feel in those small communities, that it's like people just lifting each other up and reminding you that like your passions and your fears are like valid, and like you're supported and you have love, and there's reason to try to do new things and try to just like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And none of this would have spawned without that random January YouTube video that I watched, you know.
Yeah, and like even coming back to your persona and presence online, like I think you also kind of emulate that like just genuine support and care for folks, and I think that really comes through in just kind of this community that you've built around yourself and like all the people that you've met and the establishment of I think the thing that we're gonna dive into next here of Team Never Winless and some of your charity and mental health initiatives. Yeah, you got your Team Never Winless shirt on.
It's
For
true.
I've got my Clarence Hey Big Guy,
Looking spiffy.
absolutely, um, merch on, and you've raised thousands of dollars for charity over the past what 4 years.
This is our fourth year doing it. I started it literally in 2022, that first year on the platform. I remember having a call in the summer, and we were in an old Discord, and I know it was myself and Barry Patches, our friend Barry Patches,
Mhm.
talking about it. And it was just kind of those, what if I did this? I did my very first Out of the Darkness walk in Chicago the very first year that I moved, and I did it in 2018. I did it solo. This was before they moved locations, so it was downtown.
Okay.
And I remember it being one of the hardest in the best way days for me. Like I remember crying like
Wow.
extensively because I didn't come to grips with my own mental health until my 20s.
Yeah.
I just thought I am just having hard days and I just need to get over it. Like again, the stigmas around men's mental health and just mental health in general is a my problems are not as important as other people's problems. And guess what? Everybody's problems matter and everybody's feelings matter. Like you
Absolutely.
do not need to hide from your problems or push things down. Like there are people that want to support and make you feel loved and not make you feel as alone in those. And so I did that first walk in 2018, and it gave me such this beautiful feeling of like appreciation for my own mental health, but also gave me the want to try to do what I felt like I was very grateful for in my darkest days of having support and having people that lifted me up when I felt like I didn't have anybody. And
Sure.
so we started that in 2022 of just like a what if we do this? Because I had raised money before being on Twitch a couple of years for the AFSP with my previous companies. And I was
What's
like,
the AFSP?
so the AFSP is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Oh,
That is
wonderful. Yeah.
who we partner with for Team Never Winless. We raise in particular for the Chicagoland Walk,
Mhm.
which is one of the largest in the country. Every year, over 6,000 people usually attend every single
Wow.
year. It is a massive event, and we've been one of the top fundraising teams for Chicagoland. But it's such a celebration of like all of the communities on Twitch, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, it spawned in that 2022 window of just what if I take this thing that already means a lot to me personally and use the platform that I have for it? Because I
Sure.
know that people will resonate with that and want to be a part of that and support that because but mental health is not a one person thing. It is an everybody thing. Everybody has their own mental health. How it affects them differs, but we're all humans that have mental health and deserve to feel loved and supported.
Absolutely. And I think it's super vital. Like as someone who really over the past year and a half, I've been going through my own like therapy journey and like really discovering that I've spent time, honestly, I spent time in therapy this week talking about sort of
Yeah.
toxic masculine sort of censoring of one's mental regulation and emotional regulation, right? Of like that voice is that's pushing it down, and I think it's like just a wonderful thing to be talking about and putting out there in on the internet. To you're not alone, and Team Never Winless is a great example of not alone because you. And at least in the past couple of years, have started bringing in other people into the fold to be part of Team Never Winless, right?
Yeah, so the first year we did it, it was just me, and it was just like let's celebrate all the amazing people that are on Twitch. And then with year two, it was like oh, how do we do this where it's not just me, because there are
Yeah.
so many amazing creators and spaces and loving communities that deserve to feel celebrated. And we started to like tiptoe out into that and have a few people that are involved in year two. And then last year was our biggest year ever. We had a dozen plus creators of all
Mm-hmm.
different kinds, from people that play Stardew to Animal Crossing to Elden Ring, like all these different
All the
things, but
cozy
amazing
games.
communities. Exactly. And that was our biggest campaign yet last
Wow.
year. It was amazing. We raised $13,000. We were one of the top fundraising teams for Chicago, and we got to the
Wow.
best part about it is that I go in person every year to the walk in Chicago and represent the team. And last year was the very first year that we had our own table that they gave us because of how much we raised. We had our own table and our own sign. And so we got items and things to give out to people at the walk. So we had people come by all day, and we passed along messages of support and love from all of the team that were represented. For everybody that couldn't be there in person, but Lee and I personally were there and just got to meet so many amazing people and kind of just again see the great that the AFSP is doing, and to be even a small part of that is like an honor.
That's fantastic. And you are currently in the middle of year four, correct? Of like
We are
still fundraising.
we have 2 weeks left. We have 2 weeks left in our campaign. Yesterday was definitely the biggest. I'm dating myself because we're in mid-September. Yesterday was the biggest day of our campaign, and we are currently at $14,500
Wow.
raised this year.
So you're on track to eclipse
Beating.
last year.
We eclipsed last year
Yeah.
last night.
Congratulations. That's
And
huge.
yeah, so again, it has become such a special celebration of all these communities, and so
Mm.
my sincerest gratitude goes out to all the creators that take part for giving their time and their energy and doing incentives and things, and just celebrating in their community and getting to see them like raise money and have those moments of euphoria of just like, look at what we're doing. It's just so
Yeah.
cool. And we have such an amazing team, and I'm so grateful for them, and for everybody behind the scenes like Liv and Lizzy and Pat and Joey and Don, who have helped with ideas and creation of things for us to use. I mean, it's a whole village coming together to make something really special.
Oh, for sure. And like I think oftentimes talking about back when you were watching Ninja back in 2018 and thinking that's the only side of Twitch, you often see like the clips of, Dr. Lupo raising hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, whatever, on Twitch. But here we are in a collection of just small streamers compared to a Dr. Lupo really making a huge impact, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of incredible just the amount of love and support that folks with anywhere from 2 to 200 viewers can really have on a charity fundraiser and mental health awareness in the Chicago region and beyond.
Yeah. I think that that's the thing that means the most to me is the awareness that it brings. And like,
Yeah.
it has really brought so many people together because they're like, oh, look at all of these people taking part in this one thing that supports this amazing organization and what they do. And like, it just all encompasses what the whole mission of Team Never Winless was that you are not alone.
Yeah.
You have love, and these spaces are full of love. And here's all these creators who are celebrating in that with you while raising money, that every dollar matters so much to what the AFSP does. So to be able to say that we've raised as much as we have just in the 4 years that we've been doing it, it's mind blowing to me. It means so much.
Yeah, and that's honestly that's incredible, and I think even beyond the fundraising, you just carry yourself and comport yourself in such a way that like you really try to put those vibes out year round, not just in the fall. And I think I'm a firm believer is sort of the universe often you get what you put out into it, right?
Yeah.
You get back what you put out into it, and I think Team Never Winless is doing some pretty incredible stuff. As an organizer and someone running the Team Never Winless, um, what kind of challenges have you run into as you've expanded, as you've grown this sort of charity fundraiser, right? Like, what are the challenges going from one person raising money for the walk to a team of a dozen or so creators?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been such a fascinating challenge because like I was not in the space of doing things like that before we started Team Never Winless. Like it wasn't what I do professionally, like organization, running any sort of thing and being the head of anything, very new to me. But I think especially with year 3 and year 4, it became a how do we make sure all the moving pieces work together, right? Of just who we're asking to take part, we're trying to expand and trying to find creators and like trying to grow and showcase more amazing people that we don't know, and we keep adding new people every year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so people rotate in and out, and the team grows, and that grows, and then making sure that they feel supported because it is an undertaking and it's really appreciated that they're taking part, and we want it to feel as light of a burden as possible. I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to feel like, oh, this is such a big thing that I'm being asked to do. You are simply being a part of something amazing, and whether you
Mm-hmm.
raise $1 or $1 billion, it is unbelievably appreciated, and it's literally about having fun and celebrating the space that you share. That's why we're asking you to be a part of it. It is not to add stress or add any chaos to your plate, because everybody has a lot going on, and that's kind of also one of the big messages of just like, this is about a celebration of the spaces that we share,
For
not
sure.
a we need to do this, we have to do this. It's for charity. Every dollar is incredibly important. And yeah, then just figuring out the logistics of everything, of just making sure we have resources to support people, and like putting out information about their streams, and making sure we have assets. And I mean, Liv has put in so much time into the merch, but also logos and graphics for things for people to use, and stuff like that. And then just getting everybody set up. I mean, the AFSP, thankfully, their donor drive setup is really nice for getting people on the team and setting up their own goals and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just it was a big hurdle to make, and to think that we've gone from year 1 being 1 to being 15 or so this year.
Wow.
It's genuinely wild to see it, and I want to continue to grow it and continue to find ways to make that network reach further and do more.
Yeah. Do you have any, on the topic of kind of growth and continuing, like do you have any like long-term aspirations for where you'd love to see this go, or what you'd love to see it turn into, or
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that we're going to continue it. It is very special.
yeah.
And it's funny, I think Amanda made a really good point yesterday about how it is, obviously we are raising for the Chicagoland area especially, but what
Mm.
makes it really special, what she was talking about being a part of, was that it was like it's further in distance but closer in meaning to you, like in a sense of you have the communities that you share, and it's all these people coming together raising for one location but
Right.
celebrating all these locations and people all over the country. So finding ways to partner more with AFSP and be able to do more. And I will say we've gotten so much love and support from them. They have constantly reached out and talked to us about, they love our messaging and they love what Team Never Winless has been able to do and showcase. So
Yeah.
I would love to find ways to make it bigger and bring in more creators, and just again put more of a light on mental health and show more love to those who need it. Because again, that's what motivated me, was that I know how I felt when I felt at my lowest, and I never want anybody who's having those feelings to not get that love that they deserve.
Sure.
So I just want to remind people as much as possible, um, how much love there is out there for them.
Yeah. And when you donate to Team Never Winless, you say it's for the Chicago area, but ASFP is I'm assuming a national, if not international entity. Like, does the money specifically go to initiatives within the Chicago area, or does it sort of go towards the organization nationally?
It will. So they do the one thing that I think is also cool, and for anybody listening, you can check it out. The AFSP does have walks all around the country. So they
Yeah.
have multiple different types of walks. We do the community walk. That's on a Saturday usually. They have those around the country. They also have overnight walks and then campus walks that they do at universities. So they have those everywhere, and they have drives going on all throughout the year at all those locations. So September just happens to be the Chicagoland one.
Mhm.
The funds go directly to the AFSP, which I assume will again focus on their research and their programs and stuff in the Midwest, especially,
Sure.
um, is what I would say. But if you're just interested and want to take part and want to see what a walk is like, I think it is a really special event. Um, you can check those out on their site, and there's bound to be some near you.
Yeah. And if, someone listening to the podcast wants to donate to, let's say, Team Never Winless or ASFP, like where would they go? How would they do that?
Yeah, so it is. We could probably put it in the show notes.
We will, yeah, we'll
It's
put a
all done
link.
through the AFSP themselves, but they have donor drive links. So we have a team link that you can donate. If you're interested in any of the creators, they're all on the roster, so you can go check out those people on Twitch.
And
They're all
I suggest
amazing
you
and
do.
lovely.
They're all great people.
But all of them have just been having tons of fun and doing really crazy things, all in the name of charity. So yeah, it's really awesome because everybody's personal pages have their own streams and things they set up, but then all their raising goes to the overall team goal. So as a team, we're closing in on $15,000 raised, which is just wild to think about.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Um, Bruce, as we round the corner to our magical 30-minute milestone, what else have you got going on in your life besides like the Team Never Winless charity stuff? Do you have anything else coming up that you want to talk about or that you want to announce or?
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll be doing some really fun things because of Team Never Winless. I made some
Yeah,
agreements to do some stuff. Like I
cool.
said, Persona is one of those things. I said if Amanda hit 1K last night at a certain point early on, I would let her choose any punishment for me. And she was like, I'm going to make you play Persona. And she's like, enjoy 150 hours. And so
I
they
mean,
did that.
150 great hours.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I'm excited for the music, and coming out of Expedition 33, I'm like, great music, turn based. I'm into it right now.
Yeah,
It's in my wheelhouse.
yeah.
Um,
And then you should play Dragon Quest 11, but that's neither here nor there.
listen, potentially add it to the list. We'll just keep growing. But we'll have to do some really fun stuff because of it. I have to do a 24-hour platinum or bust challenge in Astrobot.
Oh
So
my
I'm going to
god.
try to do the entire Astrobot platinum in one whole sitting, which is going to be painful. But Team Never Winless also motivate me to try to do other events throughout the year. Last Christmas, we did an event raising money for an animal shelter in Chicago called Paul's Chicago.
Yeah.
Team Never Winless is about celebrating the wins, no matter how big and no matter how small. And it's not just for the AFSP. We want to try to expand to do more throughout the year, because there are so many people and organizations doing such great work that we want to highlight and try to do our best to support.
There's just so many incredible charitable organizations out there. I remember when this is kind of a tangent. You can't listen to the Still Learning podcast without at least one yapping tangent.
Gotta have it.
I always wanted to sponsor like a family around the holidays because there's all sorts of great where you get the Christmas list for the kids and the grocery
Yeah.
list from the moms, and you can we do that at my office all the time, and I make sure that I contribute like a couple $100 towards it. But I think it would have been very cool to do that as like a stream, like a streaming community. But I petered out my streaming around October of the year that I was planning on doing it. But yeah,
Hey, you never know. We could put something together and do a toy drive thing, Team Never Winless Christmas edition. I would absolutely be down to do something like that.
we'll have to chat off stream. We'll chat off stream sometime. Yeah, Bruce, do you want to shout out your socials where people can find you?
Are you sure they want to?
Absolutely. If they don't, I'll come find them.
Twitch.tv/Bruce Winless. I will warn you. You never know what you're going to find. You genuinely
Absolutely.
do not. You might
Sometimes you'll
come
find
in.
Lizzy. Sometimes you'll find me. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know what's going to show up. You never know if I'm going to be playing Dress to Impress or I'm going to be playing like Water Park Simulator. You know,
Or the horse girl game. I came in one time and you were playing the horse girl game. That
I
was all over
did
Reddit
play
for
the
like a
horse
month.
girl game. This is why are you outing me like this for all of the podcast listeners?
What
That's
a
true.
month
I did
that
play
was,
Uma
eh?
Musume. Gosh, I blame Northern Lions. So, but no, twitch.tv/Bruce Winless. We're in the middle of this campaign, but we're trying to do so much throughout the year, and this is just our highlights. So we're going to be closing things down these next couple weeks. And then, yeah, just stay tuned. We'll put in the notes, but yeah, all the creators that are on the team, go show them love too, please. And massive shout out to everybody behind the scenes for keeping everything flowing. Team Never Winless wise, none of it's possible without you.
In fact, let's take a moment here and actually just list off all the folks in Team Never Winless.
Yeah, so obviously none of this is possible without my co-head, which is Lee, aka 20-something loser. She joined this year as the right hand man, helping put everything together. She put together an incredible Stardew Valley raid train that was over Labor Day weekend that was just massive and such a huge success. So shout out to Lee for all the work she's done.
That's
and
awesome.
She's made some really awesome stuff for the team. But you've got Allie Miller 23, you've got Alcivis, you got Amanda, who just did an amazing stream yesterday, you've got Ghostly, you got Kelly, aka
Hirokiri,
who we love, Jazz, aka Jasmine Can't Play, our dear friend Joey BTV and his cat Zuko. If you're an Avatar fan, you can go check out Zuko. He's on stream sometimes. Maximino. You got Grace, aka Princess Shortcake. Serena, aka Read the Riot. And new additions as well as them, Silly Little Cat and Sunny. And then Cylindria. Just an amazing roster of amazing creators from all different avenues that play so many different things and do so many different things coming together. And we've been killing it so far this campaign, and it's definitely thanks to them. And then obviously shout out to Liv and Lizzy and Don and Pat and Joey, who again keep things going and help with ideas and listen to me ramble as we're trying to figure stuff out.
Absolutely. We need to give Joey as much love as possible because Tennessee did just lose to Georgia last night in a devastating overtime loss.
He's going to really be upset with you when he gets to this moment of the podcast.
I'm not celebrating it. I was also upset. I was screaming at my TV. I'm like, why can't that kicker make the kick?
They showed him before the kick, and I thought he's not making this kick.
Yeah, no, he was. I've never seen a more nervous kicker.
The lights were on, but nobody was home when they showed that kid standing there. I was like, uh-oh. But it's the biggest kick of his life.
The only thing that kept me going was I remember the kick that won the Alabama game a couple years ago for Tennessee. It was probably the ugliest field goal I ever saw, but also the most beautiful, you know?
That's probably the best moment of his life, and I don't think he'll ever have it topped.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to be that kid's roommate this week. Either way, that's neither here nor there. College football. When does your charity drive end? What's the day where?
Yeah, the final day for Team Never Winless Year 4 is September 26th. Okay. So it's Friday. We're going to be taking part in the walk in Chicago on the 27th. And there will be some live content from that as well, because we do have some friends from the team coming to take part in the walk. Our friend Kelly is going to be there. Joey BTV is going to be there. It's going to be super fun. So we'll be doing some live stuff, and we're closing out on 15K. And at 15K, all the pals at the walk have to do a polar plunge in Lake Michigan after the walk. So yeah, so we're getting close to that milestone. So if anybody wants to put us over, go check out the team page.
That's awesome. I don't know if I would feel comfortable hopping into Lake Michigan that close to Chicago, but you know, all power to y'all.
It's for charity.
It's for charity. And yeah, I mean, so if you're listening to this podcast when it comes out, you'll have about a week and a half left to support Team Never Winless. And obviously, if you're listening to this after the 26th of September, you can donate to ASFP, the American Suicide Foundation, Prevention Foundation.
American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Yep.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
campaign, the
Year-round.
donations are open until the end of the year as well, just for our drive. The
Great.
walk itself is just Saturday the 27th, so we do our event on Twitch until the day before.
Sure.
But you can donate up until the end of the year. And with the merch that Olivia designed, we're donating all proceeds for that as well. And we're really proud of it. So anything that gets bought merch wise, we're donating the proceeds to the team as well. So we've got money that's flowing back in after the event wraps.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you, Bruce, and we'll be seeing you again soon.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Lizzy from the Shadows, for letting me step in this week. Congratulations again on your massive milestone of 1K downloads recently, you guys.
Hell yeah.
It is an honor to be on this journey with y'all and supporting the show, and I'm happy to step in and talk about charity.
I'm sure we'll see you again. All right. Bye-bye.